Guys, welcome to the I Love CVille Show. It's Jerry Miller. It's great to be with you on a Friday. We made it, baby. Happy Friday to you. Fall is in the air. I love this time of year. It energizes me and keeps me, I have a zest for life. I think you guys see that with this program. I just love to live. And I think our guest, Heather Hightower, undoubtedly embodies those qualities. We're going to spotlight this fabulous entrepreneur, the founder of the Center for Vocal Study. She will join us in a matter of moments to showcase all the positivity she is bringing to Charlottesville and to Central Virginia. I'll tell you, music is the world's language. And I think Heather Hightower is doing a fabulous job of embodying that and trying to build a foundation or offer more resources to anybody in our community that wants to live the world's language. Before we welcome Heather to the show, let's thank some of the fantastic clients that are a part of our business. We are an advertising agency at V&V Brands, and two of our favorite clients, Interstate Pest and Service Companies and Dr. Scott Wagner of Scott Wagner Chiropractic and Sports Medicine. First, Interstate. The business started in 1969 with the first generation. Mr. Robert Wells used his personal truck and sweat equity to build a company. He would go to his first client in 1969 in Charlottesville, and he would service them successfully, then find the nearest payphone in 1969 and say, "May I come to your home now?" to his second customer. Today, Interstate has 4 generations of family running the company, almost 100 employees, and a working footprint of the entire Commonwealth of Virginia. I love success stories like that, just like I love the success story that Scott Wagner, Chiropractic and Sports Medicine. Physical therapy, chiropractic care, sports medicine. Dr. Wagner is changing people's lives. We also welcome 2 of our newest clients to the show, and Anderson's Seafood Market on Ivy Road, and of course, IMBS Medical Building. Judah Wickhauer, you're the director. Let's go to the studio camera, and let's welcome Heather to the show. How are you?
Hi, Jerry. I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
I'm so pumped. I first met you as you were doing market research to find a location.
That's a delicate way to put it.
For your fabulous business. I was impressed. You were searching, you were negotiating, you were pricing, you were looking at square feet. You found a fabulous spot on Pantops.
Yes.
We're going to get to that in moments.
Yes.
Before we get to the business, we try to humanize, localize, and personalize our guests.
Okay.
Who is Heather Hightower? What makes you tick?
What makes me tick? Chewing with your mouth open. Is
that a bad habit?
I really struggle with that one.
Why? Because you like to talk so much?
No. It's the sounds. It's all the sounds.
Okay.
So.
What else? Tell me about childhood.
Childhood. I had a beautiful childhood. I was very fortunate.
Yeah, where'd you grow up?
I grew up in Westport, Connecticut.
Okay.
My father is a middle school principal.
Cool.
My mother was a kindergarten teacher turned nursery school director. Who this time of year actually just really reminds me of my mother, and I've been missing her a lot this week. Both my parents passed in the last few years, and. Yeah, we used to do this thing this time of year where on Friday afternoons, actually, she would pick me up from school and she would drive me through the beautiful winding roads of Connecticut, and we would ooh and ah over the colors of the trees, and then we would go to Slady's Orchard, and little Mrs. Slady would have a seconds bucket where the sort of misshapen apples would be, and you go into her cellar and she'd welcome you, and we would pick a basket of apples and we'd take them home, and then she would pull over on the side of the road and I would pick colorful leaves off the floor, but the ground floor, we couldn't pick them off the tree, and to respect the tree. And then we would take them home.
That's good imagery right there.
Yes, and then she would do this thing where she would take a pie tin and melt paraffin wax in it, and then we would dip the leaves, and then we'd have beautiful colored fall leaves all fall through Thanksgiving. So this time of year, I'm like super nostalgic for the country roads of Connecticut and the colors and smells.
How does a Connecticut girl get to Virginia?
Wahoo wah.
UVA?
Yes.
Okay, so talk to me about that.
I graduated UVA in 2003 as a music and biology major. I guess biology minor, music major.
You don't see that combo a lot.
Well, yeah.
Right? I mean,
you should, because
it's
all...
sides of the brain?
Well, how deep we want to go, Jerry?
We can go anywhere you want to go.
I always have loved animals and plants and kind of fantasized about living in the jungle. And so a biology major seemed like the most logical thing to do. And one of my favorite summers was a summer at Mountain Lake Biological Station that UVA has down in Pembroke. And we were capturing animals and out in nature, and I loved it. But I realized that the life of a researcher was a little bit more solo than I think my gifts lie. So I switched my major to music, and I really loved choral conducting. I was a vocal performance and choral conducting focus. And then I chose UVA based on the feeling of the place. I think I really empathize with really high-functioning kids, youth, who are athletes and they're musicians and they are doing the things, and sometimes you could benefit from a little space around thinking about what is it that I really want. So when I chose a school, I really placed a lot of weight into how did I feel on grounds, and I have a lot I could say about that with UVA.
I went to UVA too. I know exactly what you mean. I mean,
it's a
walking
thing.
down the lawn. So my dad went to UVA. My brother went to UVA. So I'm second generation.
Yes.
Grew up going to the football games.
Yes.
And there was something about walking down the lawn.
Yes.
Especially in the fall.
Yes.
As the leaves are changing.
Yes.
And I knew like right away.
Yes.
This is where I wanted to go.
Yes.
And I'm going to brag about you a little bit here.
Oh, tell me.
Connecticut. See, I'm in-state. From Williamsburg. Yes. You're out of state from Connecticut.
Yes.
So let's cut to the chase. You're a smart lady. Getting in out of state, so much more difficult than getting in state.
I have to say I feel
a sense of accomplishment, right? I mean, what was that like?
Well, it just seemed like a practical, good top choice.
Yeah? Were mom and dad like, really, you want to go to Charlottesville? Or were they like, UVA is so darn good, I'm so proud of you? Was it a little bit of both?
I was really lucky to have supportive parents who gave us, who encouraged us to trust in our intelligence. They always reflected back to us our capacity. So I think in our world, it was like, okay, great. If that's where you want to go, great.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So I think I don't doubt my my capacity for certain things. I doubt plenty of other things, but yeah, I feel like it. Thanks.
How about this? So I knew maybe first or second year that I wanted to stay in Charlottesville and either start a career. I started a career in journalism, eventually launched a business. But I knew I always wanted to stay there. Did you struggle with that of like, oh my God, am I really going to stay in the town that I went to college with? Because a lot of people do.
Well, so I think at first I thought, well, I have friends here, and I'll get a job here, and I'll figure out my next steps. And I did that. I worked in fundraising at the University of Virginia. Okay. I actually worked a bit in real estate as a receptionist at McLean Faulkner.
You would have crushed real estate.
I would have I have plenty of people close to me who are like...
Because of the human connection piece.
I know.
You're so good at it. And you love people.
I would have made bank.
Yeah.
But my heart was really set on something different, which was more musical. Okay. I know. I applied to grad school. I got into some great programs for vocal performance.
Where'd you get in?
Boston Conservatory, the Hart School. I don't even remember where else, I think.
Wow.
But where I hit sort of an impasse was that my intuition told me not to go.
Why?
And then this is like the golden question. Why has my life unfolded this way? That's a good question.
Was it the debt? Was it the value proposition of what would you receive from grad school?
No, that's like a logical sort of assessment of it. It was really just it was a feeling. It was like, this is not the next step. But my mind couldn't negotiate. Then what do I do with this sense of calling to work with music? So you're off the charts with IQ and EQ, emotional intelligence and intelligence itself. I mean, that's what it sounds like. Takes one to know one.
Oh, come on now. I definitely don't have the EQ right there. Maybe the IQ, not the EQ. So you say
EQ
no?
can be developed through music.
Okay. I've heard that from some people. Let me throw this to you here. I've heard I need to develop the EQ a little bit more. It's probably true. Let me throw this to you. You say no to some of the best grad schools in the country in your field.
Well, you make that sound very heroic. At the time, it felt very... I don't want to say dark, but really like...
Because you were like, what the hell am I doing?
Well, I had a real impasse, and actually this part of my story does really inform and shape the work we're doing now, which I'm glad we have some time to get to that.
I want to hear it.
Not yet. Hold on, I'll give you a little build up there.
Okay.
But I think there is so much pressure. There is so much pressure on young kids to know where they're going to go, make decisions, kind of be on a path. I loved studying opera. I love the athleticism of the voice. I love classical music, and there's a certain timeline to do certain things that matters if you want to do certain things. And I think at 24, I really didn't understand. I didn't understand what my options were, and so I kind of did what every good, responsible young adult does, and I made my pros and cons lists, and I thought, well, if I'm not going to grad school and I can trust that feeling, then maybe I want to teach music and see if I want to do that. And I hadn't gone abroad in undergrad, and I thought, well, I miss speaking Spanish, so maybe I can go abroad. And I fell asleep one night, and a week later, I met a woman in town who probably a large part of the community knows, Beth Neville Evans. Her son and son-in-law do Marie Bet,
yes,
and her husband, John Borden Evans, is a painter. And
okay.
She had started a nonprofit in Guatemala called the Ixtatán Foundation.
We've had Jason on the set like 2 weeks ago.
Fantastic person.
Great people.
Yeah. So I went to a potluck, and she was there, and I said, well, I really love music, and I think I might want to consider teaching music. And she said, well, how about you come teach choir at my brand new school in Guatemala starting in 2 months? And I was like, what? But my heart said yes immediately. I found that very difficult to sort of put in my resignation. My job, my logical brain couldn't really negotiate what was happening there. But I went, and it was a fantastic year. So I lived in the highlands of Guatemala, up in the northern portion of Huehuetenango, where it was hardest hit by the Civil War. And you can look up the Ixtatán Foundation. They do wonderful work, but they created a middle school and a high school there. And I just leapt into the mountains, essentially, and I was the first full-year volunteer in that area.
Amazing.
And it was amazing. And I didn't really fully appreciate when I got there that we were all operating in second languages, because their native language is Chu. And so
you guys were speaking Spanish?
We were all doing our best in Spanish, as
okay.
you know.
And are you fluent? Were you bilingual?
I would say that I'm highly proficient. I would not call myself fluent.
Okay.
But
so you're basically saying if you're put in an environment, you can make it work.
Absolutely. Yeah. I love language.
Yeah.
So what am I saying? That year was very important because it reconnected me with my spirit, my sense of embodiment. You're walking everywhere. You're eating fresh foods. You're just more in rhythm with the earth. And we did, I got so much mileage out of singing rounds from a little book that Linda Hansen, who runs a wonderful little choir called, a wonderful choir called Fire. She lent it to me with her blessing and said, share these songs. And I basically taught a whole year's worth of music out of those songs. And then I came back. We're talking 2006. And I remember that first night, one of my family members had picked me up near Dulles Airport, and I'm like in my Guatemalan huipil, and I'm watching the sunset over a Total Wine and a Costco, and I just remember thinking, like, something is so wrong about the way we are living in the United States right now.
Ooh.
And so I really struggled to re-enter, and then I dove into different. Maybe you could call it like a reconnaissance mission into the business world.
Okay.
And I've reached a point after a few years of thinking, I think even though I don't know how to come back to music or what I would do with music or how this could even work, I think I have to try. So I leapt back here. A friend had invited me back to live with her, and I ended up working for my friend Laura Van Camp. Uh-huh. Turns out I'm really great at selling women's jeans.
At Jean Theory?
Oh,
She's been on the show.
I know. I watched it. It was amazing.
She was amazing.
She's an amazing person. Yeah. So we grew her business from, I worked for her as she grew her business from 4th Street to Main Street.
Right.
So we did a little hop over to East Market there for a little bit. And what I learned through that experience is when you are selling denim, Laura, if you're watching, hello.
Someone let Laura know.
I think about this a lot because
Get Laura on the stream, guys.
I feel like I have to say, like, Laura and I laugh about this now. Like, I was always a $17 Costco jeans girl. Like, why would I spend more on a pair of jeans? Like, why? I'll just buy 3 pair and I won't wash them so the color doesn't fade and the pockets don't curl up. And then I started working for Laura and I didn't know anything about denim. And then one week she had to leave for market and I covered the store and it turns out I really killed it selling. But what I came to understand is you're not selling
You're selling confidence.
You're selling confidence.
Yeah.
You're helping a woman see herself the way
right.
she wants to be seen, and it's genuinely terrifying because there is no standard sizing. Every color fits differently. It's a lot to hold in the brain so that you can catch somebody right before they implode. So I'm so grateful to Laura because I learned so much about a brick and mortar experience. She gave me just so much space to play and run with her beautiful store and loving on her people. So that experience in Charlottesville has been very important in the sort of creation of the Center for Vocal Study because that opportunity, this is segueing very nicely,
yes.
you guys. I hope you're still following
We
along.
are. They are. I'm seeing them.
Okay. Hang with me. Buckle your seatbelts. So I started teaching voice after working for Laura. So this is 2010, 11, 12. And so many people had been asking me to teach voice, and I really had a lot of rules about what I needed to be able to do to be allowed to teach voice. Like, I'm not a pianist. I didn't get the master's degree. I didn't do certain things that I just thought, no. You deserve someone better than me, That was sort of where my head was with it. And then I reached this point where I thought, let's just do it. And then I had this instant full studio, and then I thought, whoa, something is flowing here. And I did that for a few years until I outgrew my living room, and I wasn't actually looking for a space, but where I was living, it wasn't as easy to teach, and people can hear you.
Yeah.
And you're a little
Eventually
bit of
you need a go-to spot.
You're a nuisance.
Yeah, right.
So
I started this business out of our condo. I know exactly what that's like.
Yes.
Now a rental property.
Yes.
I know exactly what that's like.
It's because you have a real estate license degree, and you were smart along the way.
No. I don't have the EQ, though, like you do.
The money
I don't have
over.
the EQ. Let me throw this to you here. I got you.
Wait.
That was a great start.
No, wait. Oh, yeah, I've got more.
Okay, keep going.
I'm going to get to the
Sure.
the creation of this.
Okay.
And I basically, on a Friday, found out I really needed to move my space from my home, and then or maybe it was a Monday, and then a Friday I bumped into one of my now colleagues, and she said, hey, do you want to rent a space? And I was like, actually, I don't want to rent a space. I don't want the headache. I don't want any of all that stress. Here are all the reasons why a space would be bad. And she goes, well, let's just talk about it. And that was on a Friday, and then we talked on a Saturday, and Monday I walked into Kelly Tatum Zimmerman's Hydro Hot Yoga, which had been next to the Jefferson for a massage.
Right.
And she goes, well, why don't you rent this place? I'm out Friday. My husband has a job in California, and she put me in touch with the second floor tenant who I was going to be subletting from.
That's a great spot.
And then he goes, well, actually, my best case scenario is that a musician moves in upstairs. What? And I was like, oh no, this means I have to do it. So I went home and I was like, well, I'm clearly not going to do this.
That's serendipitous.
And then I thought, well, if I got a few people together, we could make it work. And then I really felt like this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to run something with music in a historical building downtown in the heart of Charlottesville. So I leapt. And then I kind of muddled through the first year. My father passed away, and it was just kind of hard. And then this team came together beautifully, magically. And then August 12th happened, and it coincided right with the start of our first year as a team. And all of a sudden, it didn't feel so accidental anymore. So to tie that back in, I credit my experience at Gene Theory to having the confidence to say yes to a space downtown, because I know how turned around people can get down here, and it's really important you get out ahead of it. So the first thing I did was create a little graphic And just to like, here's where
the
we
map.
are.
Yeah.
You can find us, you know? So it's just, yeah. So I hope that wasn't too much on, on the inception story.
That was like the best start to any show we've had.
It was an unplanned studio. It was a spontaneous creation. And so there has been a lot in the last few years. And even right now, as we make this transition, kind of looking in the rearview mirror and going, what is happening here? You know, there's a lot of trusting what feels right. And I'm really fortunate that the colleagues who have showed up so far, we're all operating from a feelings-based language, and I have a lot to say about this that I feel like is very relevant to our nation right now and what we're going to be doing in the future. Well, now what we're doing in our new space, but there's a whole language that is desperately needed in the fabric of our society. That's where I will pause.
Oh my gosh, I have so much, and we have folks that we want to thank here. We got folks in Richmond, Crozet, DC, and Philly, and Charlotte, outside North Carolina. Your Connecticut team is watching right now.
Hello.
Let me throw this to you.
Please.
I'm
ready. I'm ready. I was an athlete, Jerry.
Unwrap. Were you? What'd you play?
Well, what didn't I play?
Oh, you played them all?
I played them. I was a really good catcher. I was a first baseman.
You're a southpaw? Are you left-handed?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was a competitive swimmer.
Okay.
Did a little stint in basketball for a while, but maybe my crowning glory is to say I played football with the boys, 7th, 8th, and 9th grade. And I played the line.
Really?
And actually, fun fact, the young man at the time who was my age, the man who taught me how to play is now a UVA professor.
What?
His name is Adam Slez, and he moved here, and his mother is our pianist because she moved here. Peggy, shout out to Peggy, who's just been by my side since the 7th grade cheering me on.
Well, let me throw this to you here.
Yeah.
You grow up playing team sports.
Yeah.
You are able to get into UVA at a state. You're able to get into all these fantastic grad schools. I mean, a lot of people can't, though. So from my standpoint and the 3 or 4 interactions I've had from you, I would say that you do not lack ever at all in confidence. You were saying at time, especially before launching the business, there was maybe some of that going on?
I think whenever you're self-aware, you're very highly aware of how far you have yet to go.
Okay.
So I would say starting...
That was deep there. That was
so
good.
Deep. There's more where that came from. I wrestle with this. I think maybe because singing is, you are so vulnerable. You are showing your heart. You are showing who you are. And I have found the balance between Excel spreadsheet Heather and creative Heather to be a very challenging dance at times, and because they require different parts of the being.
Oh yeah.
So starting the Center for Vocal Study, that was intense. That was really intense. But we got a community going. We got a seed going, and what I'm really seeing is there is a deep, 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 deep hunger to know a number of things. One, your voice matters. That you're okay, that you're not alone. And I think I could keep going, but I want to make sure you asked the question you wanted to ask.
No, please keep going.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going in, you guys.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
We're ready.
Chime in, please, because I want to know I'm not alone in this.
I don't think you are.
Okay, no. Yeah. We're at a really, really funny time in our nation's history. So if we just look at this from purely a musical side of things, we are living in an era where we are dissociated from collective song. We don't gather to make music in the home unless maybe the power's out. We aren't leaving our buildings and going into the streets to sing and welcome the birth of a new child or to grieve the loss of an important community member. We've forgotten how to grieve or celebrate through music. We aren't...
Is that because of social media?
So I've been thinking about this a lot as I'm on the systems and side of the systems and back end side of things. And I look at how much of my time in the last decade has gone to educating people about why does this feel hard when I get 3 months into this? Or how do you nurture your gifted child? There's so many education points that you think, oh wow, we're getting farther and further away from some core tenets of the human experience.
Yeah.
One, you are sound. Inside our little molecules, our little biology, we are frequency. We are frequency. So to sing is to be an agent of your own vibration. You get to create your own resonating chamber of frequency to do whatever you wish with it, whether that's make your music or change the energy of a room. If we were in the tribe, we would be seen in each other with this. This is really good.
Yeah.
We would see each other. We would know each other. We would know ourselves through each other. But we have built cities all around the United States that have dissembled the village. We live in a box. Then we walk outside and we go to another box. And then we drive to another box. And then we have our little computers attached to us all day long, which, if we're talking frequency, are high frequency things. I'm totally addicted to my phone, so I'm not saying
You're not the only one.
I'm not above this, right? We are surrounded by sound and divorced from melody. Literally every public space you're going to, you are bombarded with frequency. I don't even want to talk about the 5G network because I don't even want to get fearful about it, but I can't help but wonder, what are we doing blasting our earth with all the different levels of frequency? We are at a crisis point in humanity.
I don't think we're going to even know until generations from now.
Yes, we are burning our forests. We are poisoning our waters. We are letting our sick die, and we are letting our hungry go hungry, and we have a crisis of consciousness at the highest levels of our policy makers and systems and structures.
No doubt.
So we have a need for systems and structures, for artists and music to thrive.
Interesting.
We are living in a funny time of decades-long cultural amnesia about the role of music and arts in society. We have an epidemic of
cultural amnesia. I love this. Keep
It's
going.
innocent. It's
Yeah.
innocent. But if you are not making music in your life, and you grow up not making music, and then you're on, let's say, the church committee deciding the budget, it may not occur to you why you really need to support your music minister at the next level.
Why do you think that's happening?
Oh, I
We're
have
too
a lot to
capitalistic and materialistic? We're too focused on tangible productivity?
I think it's been a funny time in the consciousness of the earth. But I think we have a real opportunity right now to shift the tide. So my set point on this is that singers are uniquely equipped to lead the way in all industries. Singers are the rememberers of feeling. Singers remember how to open their bodies and make something beautiful. But the problem is, because we have this sort of gap between those who are very successful, they're machines or the exceptional talent, right? In the fabric of our society, we don't have right now institutions to support, or the budgets in our city and state budgets to support art just even being a part of our life. So not at the level we should have it. So we aren't kind of bumping up against it. We aren't remembering oh yeah, I can sing too, or we do this thing as a family, or we go to church and it's a part of our church, we're putting screens in churches and blasting our ears with high amplification, and we wonder why we are in sensory overload. So what I see from a very sheer economic side of things is, shout out to all the music teachers out there, because the music teachers are warriors and they should have your support. You should be speaking to your board of education and saying, pay your music teachers more. Music teachers are up against so much. They're losing their rehearsal time, they're losing their salaries, they're being asked to do jobs that they weren't trained in, like maybe a band director being asked to teach choir. Different worlds. They are not the same training. Why does that happen? Somebody at the top thinks, oh, well, it's music. You can do both. It's not like that. Why don't we have the space for it? Why don't we have the money for it? Why do we then wonder why we elect people in positions of influence who lack empathy? It is a crisis, and I would say it's a public health crisis. I would go so far as to say it is a public health crisis that we do not have enough music in our society.
In some ways, I'm playing devil's advocate with you.
Yes.
And you'll appreciate this. This is from James Watson, who's watching in DC, I believe.
Hi, James.
Very poetic expression of the current state of our smart device-dependent culture.
Yeah.
Thank you for that, Heather.
Thanks.
Vanessa Fuquin.
Hey.
Watching right now. Marco Alonso giving you some props right now.
From San Mateo.
Yeah. Watching in Guatemala?
Yeah. Maybe. Hola, ¿qué tal?
John watching right now in New York City. John Hunt. Sandra Bueller watching right now.
My old voice teacher.
Give it a like, give it a share. Linda Bowen giving you some props right now. So you talk about this crisis in the school system?
Well, it's bigger than this. Hold on.
Can I play devil's advocate with you?
Can I just balloon
Sure.
back for a second?
Yeah.
The crisis is being reflected, I think, in where we see musicians operating. The reality, the economic reality of most of the musicians in your life who have persevered to hold the flame for their flock of students is that they're, most of them, working 2 to 5 jobs. And that is not your best recipe.
No.
For civic engagement,
Sure. Or best productivity.
Bringing the gifts of
right.
what you are channeling through your body
Sure.
into our buildings and our cities and our discussions, right?
But in some ways, is this not? This is the businessman in me. I can't help
no,
it.
it's good.
I can't
It's
help
really
it.
important.
Isn't it? In some ways, is the businessman in me saying, "Isn't this good for the Center for Vocal Study?"
Absolutely.
Because
But-
because if it's
Yeah.
not happening on the school lines, then
Well,
that reinforces the strength that you have.
Okay, I should say, this is like a very important distinction to make sure is there's no misunderstanding on.
Sure.
The music teachers here are amazing.
Right. You're not marginalizing them. I don't think anyone thinks that. Yeah.
I'm saying that there is a need for people who are not musicians who are controlling budgets to understand why music matters.
Oh, I totally get that. But the people that control the budgets, that do
Yes.
not understand why music matters,
Yes.
that are not allocating the resources to music,
Yes.
or are asking the music teacher to
Yes.
wear 5 different hats, this marginalization that is happening
Yes.
is good for the Center for Vocal Study.
I mean, I guess if you look at it like,
Drives engagement.
oh, the language, Jerry, the language.
I know. I can't help it. I can't
I
help
know.
it.
Well, that's funny.
Yeah.
But no, it's good that you're saying this
Yeah.
because that's how a lot of people are thinking.
Right.
I look at it more as a human. It's a human.
Right.
It's a human.
That's the
to
EQ in
human.
you. That's the EQ that I lack.
All right. So I'm going to pivot slightly.
Okay, sure.
And we'll come back around.
I love it. Yeah.
At the end of the day, we're all human.
Sure.
We all want to know we matter.
Okay.
We all want to know we belong.
Yeah.
And
We all want to feel good about
I
ourselves.
want to feel good about ourselves.
Yeah.
We want to be excited to wake up in the morning and say, you know what? I'm glad to live this day.
Right. Be above the mud.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel some joy.
I totally agree with
I feel
that.
good in my body.
Yeah.
I love my
There's
wife.
a reason to live.
I love my kids.
Yeah.
Now, I suspect, and I guess maybe in another decade, when I have another decade's worth of data to look back on.
Okay.
But I suspect.
Ooh, I think I know where this is going to go.
Oh, tell me.
What do you suspect?
I suspect that people who are hoarding resources,
Yeah.
because they're out there,
Yeah.
we think, oh, I earned that money. I'm going to keep that money.
Yeah. A capitalist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I made that happen.
Yeah.
When we see a breakdown in sharing our resources, I suspect that underneath that is a breakdown in the trust of the self, that what you actually want to create or who you actually want to be, you've lost touch with the sense that it's actually possible. We have a lot of scarcity mindset in our world,
Yeah.
right? How often do well-meaning adults say to young, gifted musical children, well, that's fine, but you better marry rich, or that's fine, but you can't make a living, or whatever. So if we're just speaking music alone as maybe a wonderful example of something that has no guarantee, but it might be pouring out of you. You might have a calling for it, right? I have seen on our end, and in my work over the decade, that an adult who stopped singing, who comes back to it, their life changes from the inside out. It changes. And it might be music for some people and singing for some people, but that core idea that like maybe you've got poetry to write or a business you want to start or I don't even know what, but when you're operating from this place of this thing that is flowing through me is coming out of my body, you just want to share it. You just want to share it, and there's more trust in resources. Good.
Yeah.
Good.
So let me backtrack to this. And Vidriani Kyle, giving you some props right now. Give it a like and a share on any of the 12 Facebook pages you guys are watching. If you have anything you'd like to relate to her, just put it in the comment box. So you, Sandra McLean Bueller, the world in general and the world of music in particular needs so many more Heathers, she says. She just put this comment in the box. I love your connection to what you do and how you do it. You're an inspiration. She just put that in the box right now.
Thanks, Sandra.
Get back to the comment about, and you got me thinking,
Good.
hoarding of resources.
Why else would you ask for a... Sorry, go ahead.
So I started this business 11 years ago. Put my life savings into it.
I understand.
No clients for 6 months.
Oh, I empathize.
Was going to the Pana Garden Buffet by Lambeth. Remember Pana Garden by Lambeth? My second year
I
I
don't
was in
think I ever
Lambeth.
went there, actually.
The one across, you know what I'm talking about though? It was Carmelo's, it was the Chinese place.
And it was falafel. And, yeah.
Right, so I was going into the Pana Garden Buffet. It was
Yes.
freaking broke.
I-
With Ziploc bags.
Yes.
Stealing food when they were not looking, putting them in
Yes.
Ziploc bags.
Wow.
That was the food for 3 days and my dog's food.
You
Was
fed your
going-
dog well.
Was going to my buddy's place when they weren't looking, lifting up seat cushions, finding $1.03 and change, and eating a double cheeseburger
Yeah.
from McDonald's. Because that's what
Yeah.
I could afford at the time.
Yeah.
Okay. So to say someone like that is all in is like an understatement.
Sure.
To the point where
Sure.
like you are literally like, and I'm talking first me.
Yeah, sure.
Literally like a sense of vulnerability and like fear.
Totally.
And like, what have I fucking got myself into?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, this
So,
is like me.
like-
Like when I met you, I was like, what have I done? Why am I still trying to find a place?
So where I'm going with this
Yeah.
is we're 11 years in,
Yes. And so successful.
own most of this building.
Beautiful.
Here's where I'm going with this, and I'm going to throw it back to you.
Mm-hmm.
I understand what you're saying about the hoarding resources, but to play devil's advocate, and I thoroughly enjoy this, you have me thinking, and it's good for a talk show.
Great.
Haven't we earned it? Haven't we like
Yeah.
taken one vacation in 11 years?
Sure. Yeah, no, this is
Do we not
I'm so glad you
have?
said
Do we
this.
not have the? We've earned it.
Sure, sure. Absolutely. Yes. It's beautiful. It's
And-
beautiful what you've created.
Hoarding and hoarding, maybe not the word I would use.
I
would-
wasn't thinking of you when
No,
I
no,
said
I
that.
know. But like anyone, they're gonna in
Sure.
some ways make it about it, whether
Yeah.
that's narcissistic
well,
or
so,
not.
You know, can I?
Sure, please. I
I'm,
love
I'm
it.
riffing
Please,
here.
I
so
love riffing.
All thoughts are subject to change.
Yes, yes.
And evolve.
I'm enjoying
Which,
this.
Actually, I wish I had given myself permission to like. That's something that's like all things are subject to change. Like I will become a better teacher. I will become a better singer. I will become a better business person. And it's like okay right now. So what you said is, haven't I earned this? And isn't
Earn the
it
right.
okay? Earn the right. Absolutely, right. Yeah. This opens up into like a very deep place. This.
But to your point, it has created a desensitization of certain emotions.
Tell me more.
I'm so razor focused on certain things that I lack empathy in some regards.
I
And
love
why
that you just
I
said that.
lack empathy in some regards is because I have a hard time saying like being empathetic to somebody that like shit's hitting the fan for them and like struggling. And I'm just like, I was effing there, dealt with it, figured it out, and made it a reality. Like a proponent of like controlling or dictating your own destiny, where that's not necessarily EQ in reality.
Well, I think your response to that is natural. Like, hey, man, there are things you can do, and I've been there, and I see something that could help you. If you wanted to walk through this door with me,
Okay.
I really get that. I don't know that that's a lack of empathy, but it may be an invitation to more tenderheartedness.
Okay, that's fair.
So-
And you're basically seeing from and we're bringing it back to your business, the Center for Vocal Study,
Sure.
when folks, whether it's the Center for Vocal Study
Sure.
or enjoying art of any capacity, poetry, art, writing, drawing, singing, when they bring that aspect into their lives, they find a different set of emotions that perhaps was there, but buried.
Yes. And so, may I speak a little bit about what we're doing now?
You're the star of the show. I'm following your lead. Seriously, I'm following your lead.
Every good leader is a good follower.
You've used that line before.
Have I?
Yes.
Here? Today?
No, not today, but in your
you
life.
read my Instagram
In
posts.
your life. Go ahead.
Oh, wow.
Monsito is loving this. Greetings, Heather Hightower.
Talk about a tender heart. He was one of my students in Guatemala.
He's watching in Guatemala right now.
You know what? That was actually, so in Guatemala, I love him.
No, but tell me what we were just talking about. I want to stay focused on this because you have me like thinking 1,000 different ways.
It's good that he said hello because he actually always he picked up when I was having a hard day. So it was hard being the only woman in a different culture.
I was gonna say.
Like
The only
teaching.
gringo.
It was hard.
Gringa.
I was wearing pants. The girls weren't wearing pants yet. They were all wearing dresses. And he could always read when my heart was hurting. So I love that he actually chimed in right now. And he would give me a hug. He'd say, "Teacher, you're the best teacher." That softness, that space goes a long way. So I want to speak, just shifting gears, into the logistics of what is happening at the Center for Vocal Study right now.
Yes.
I can describe this in a couple of ways. We're going through a rebirth.
Wow.
Or maybe you could say we are burning the old away to make room for the new. I can only describe this in terms of spirit. It feels like the spirit is rising. And it feels like this beyond the realm of music. But within me, it feels like things want to go higher. I want to serve more. I want to connect with the people who know that voice is a piece of what they need to do. And people know, not everybody, but there are people who know that it is a part of their world, whether that is that they are beautiful, excellent singers and they are seeking to step forward and claiming that for their lives. That is a set of people. I also tend to attract a certain amount of high-functioning, very capable executive women who want to maybe feel more fluid with the message that is flowing through their body. If you're leading a Fortune 500 company, you want to feel good in your body. You want to know that you're connecting with a room. You want to know that the message coming through you is resonant. This is where music and harmonics and math and biology, it all makes sense. And if we want to make broad gender sweeps of the brush, and these are very broad, and thanks for rolling with me on a broad generalization.
I love it.
I would say in general, we also see really successful men who are learning a new language, and I would call it a feeling-based language. So to your point of, didn't I earn this? Didn't I, earn the right to enjoy my own creation? Absolutely. And there's potentially even a deeper way to experience the self where you can be even more open to the creative flow that is coming through you, which I believe tends to open the heart a little bit more, which tends to lead us to doing things that remember the people around us a little bit more and our own little microcosms of a community. If you're a person setting, let's say, a national budget, I would say that language really, really matters. It really matters for your insight into how you make a decision.
This just came in. This is from Lauren. Lauren says, this is a good comment right here. Judah, I'm going to send you a picture you just posted on your Facebook page. Female at a big table. And I'm going to get your thoughts on this picture.
That was
Judah,
posted to my friends.
This is going to be, but I thought
I know. Yeah.
your photo is about empowerment.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to get to that. This is from Lauren. Lauren says, our son totally expresses different emotions. He dances more, a love of instruments more. After attending the Blue Ridge Music Group, he's 18 months old.
Beautiful. Yes. Thank you, Lauren, for saying this. We are music. Kids are musical. We are naturally musical. And this is a big education point we end up doing as we receive people on the beginning of their journey. Like, hey, spoiler alert, hate to break it to you, you're already musical and you can already sing, right? This is like life-changing for a lot of people. I'm more speaking about when there is a breakdown, like a trauma that disconnects a kid from their internal music. And that is so common. So I actually started the boys choir program at the Field School of Charlottesville in 2013, and it was one of the best adventures of my adult life. love teaching those boys, and my father actually was a wonderful man with a deep bass voice, like the kind of basso profundo like you don't hear, and all he had to do, and when in a room full of 13-year-old middle school boys, he was a middle school principal, all he'd have to do is say, "Good morning, gentlemen," and everybody would settle. And when my dad was 13, his music teacher, or thereabouts, said something like, "Oh, you're singing out of tune, why don't you sit in the back row?" That comment, had heard him say a number of times. I would say those casual comments really have an impact, and it's not a positive one. So when I led the choir, so like my dad supported music and arts, and growing up in Westport, Connecticut, we had the good fortune of a supported public school system, excellent arts. So grateful for my teachers and the experiences they have. I also was fortunate to have a church that invested in a wonderful adult choir director, George Weigel, an amazing organist, Martha Heisey, and the most gifted set of early music educators that have ever walked this earth, Marianne and Bill Hall, who began Music for Children, which is before, I believe, the Music Togethers of the world. Growing up to have a place to go to where you can keep making music every week and kind of graduate from one set to the next, and it'll be seamless. It's like you keep a tie with that musical side of you that Lauren's son is demonstrating. That is beautiful and to be nurtured. But what happens so often is we have adults who stop making music who go, "Oh, you can't carry a tune in a bucket," right at the voice change, and a boy goes, "Well, you know what? I'm not guaranteed that I can sing that line, so I think I'm going to do band." So I made it my mission to keep boys in the choir. And we started with
You're such a baller.
Oh, it was awesome.
Yeah.
Field school boys are the best. And that was such a great experience. Like the school gave me all the space to run the class the way I wanted to run it. We started with 4 boys, and had 80 boys in the school. I had a third of the school, I had 30 boys in my class. And I was non-auditioned. It was like teaching on quicksand. Because the voices are changing,
Sure.
they're fluctuating.
Of course.
But my approach with it was like, you just got to keep making the sounds, and you might not be able to trust me yet, but just wait. When you're a high school boy or a college boy who sings, it's a whole other world. You've got musical leads waiting for you. You've got a cappella groups and swooning, listeners waiting for you. Just keep singing. So much of the message that I feel like I've been pumping out for the last few years is just keep singing. Right now, as we've moved into our new place.
You're blowing. No.
Do I need to slow down?
No.
Okay.
People are responding incredibly well. In fact, I have a lot of comments I need to get to.
Please.
Keep going. You're in fuego right now.
Okay.
Seriously.
All right. First, I want to say thank you to Frank Bailiff, Southern Development Homes,
Yeah.
who has beautifully tended the home that we're in. When I met Jerry, I was looking for a place to be, and I
think I even said, and this makes me look bad. In retrospect, I felt bad. Okay,
Why?
I did feel bad. I was trying to be. I am
practical.
like yes.
I know.
So I'm like very like
I know
to the point.
I know.
Because I don't want to like waste people's time. And I think
didn't.
I said to you when you were looking for a space downtown,
it's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
But you know
I
what?
felt like an asshole.
No.
Afterwards,
that's sweet.
I was just trying to be honest.
No, I think you didn't do it. No, you were right. You were right. It wasn't going to happen.
Not downtown, right?
You're right. You were 100% right. So this is where it all becomes like that dance of the creation, right? So you asked about confidence. Why do I not feel confident? It was like every day this summer, like also, okay, hold on. Thanks to Frank Bailiff for caring for the building.
Yeah.
Because singers are sensitive to mold, and there's so much mold.
Frank Bailiff owns the building. Her business is in
Yes.
on Pantops.
And-
for background.
Yes, and we're in Dominion Office Park.
Yeah.
So we're in like this adorable, beautiful house that has so much love and charm and good feelings. Everybody who walks in goes, ooh, it feels really good in here. And that is real. There is like an energetic imprint in that space that is just good.
And I'm going to say this, you're not going to say this, so you're not going to catch any heat. I will catch some heat.
Uh-oh.
You checked out another spot. I'm not going to say where or whose.
Uh-huh.
I was downtown. That had some mold issues. And
You know what?
you had some trepidation because of that. We'll leave it at that. That's fair.
Well, so singers are like canaries in coal mines. So
Yeah.
like maybe if we were engineers, we wouldn't be sensitive to it. Like we're just like feeling everything.
Right.
We are feeling everything, and we have to have a relationship to breath. So like my set point is like a very, very high. It's a higher set point probably than most people.
Of course.
But Dominion Office Park has been awesome. It's super chill. It's easy to get to. There is parking on site. And MSC, leasing company, has been so professional and wonderful. I want to say thank you to them because it is so wonderful to be in a space that has been just so beautifully maintained and where they're on top of things. And it's been such a positive experience in just the 6 weeks we've been there. I guess maybe closer to 8 weeks now.
Throw this to you. This is.
Yeah.
So we have someone who's been on the show, Mimi.
Hi, Mimi.
Who's one of the folks that are in, one of the actresses that are in Follies.
Oh, great.
And Live Arts right now.
Cool.
Okay, she sings. She was on the show. She was singing. She's fabulous. Mimi, I'm going to embarrass you a little bit here. She's also a doctor. And
Amazing.
I don't know her exact specialty, but I believe it's in
Yes.
some kind of childhood development. Correct me if I'm wrong there, Mimi. So, super educated, using obviously both sides of the brain. Very passionate of the arts. Very passionate about theater. Loves to sing. Fantastic program. Thank you for all you do, Heather.
Oh.
You're on point right now. You are getting some love here from, and I'm going to throw it back to you. Jessica Norby, love you, Heather.
Jessica, she's kept me consistent getting out my Instagram posts
Shirley
this year.
Terrell, Heather
Shirley.
Hightower, you are on fire right now.
Thank
Give
you.
it a like, give it a share, relay some commentary to her, just like for Mendoza Smee. Did I get that right?
Fernando.
Okay,
He's
no.
a wonderful videographer.
That's
Yeah,
enough
he's got
for-
his condensed
Okay.
thing.
Yeah, Marco Alonso's giving you some serious props as well. Throw this to you here.
Yes.
You really got
Wait.
me thinking. Okay.
I really want to say more before you talk.
Sure.
Can
You
I?
say, yeah.
Can I interrupt you?
You can.
Can
You
I?
can.
Can I block the line a little
Please,
bit and
yeah.
talk about myself?
Yeah, please.
If we had to have had a theme in the last place,
Okay.
downtown, we were focused on one-on-one lessons, and we did that in community and collaboration. And a lot of the words I kept saying were keep singing, keep singing, keep singing, keep singing. When we moved into the new place, it became very clear to me that in order to evolve to the next level, to take the gifts of the singer into the world at the level that it really needs to get to, we've got to burn down the old and make way for the new. So we are letting go, or have already let go, of traditional lessons as a model, which is like really, really, really bold. So we built this beautiful functioning thing with a collaborative teaching environment, which if we had more time, I could talk about maybe something that is, I believe we're ahead of the curve on that. And I'm really proud of that we created that so well in our field. Right now, if there is an emergent tagline, it is come to center and tune your instrument.
The instrument can be.
You are the instrument.
Right.
You are the instrument. Your breath, your body, your alignment, your old shoulder injuries, your funky neck, your heady overthinking self.
Come to center and tune your instrument.
Tune your instrument. Tune your instrument. The space, because it's been so beautifully maintained, we're turning it a little bit into a sanctuary. It's calm. We don't have Wi-Fi everywhere. We can unplug the Wi-Fi if we want it. We have trees that most of the rooms look into. It looks over the Ravenna River. It is intimate. It has beautiful wood floors. It has windows that open, which I really care about because we want to breathe. We want to feel the air. We want to know we're alive. We want to know we're okay. So if we're talking about how well can I sing, or can I bring my gift into the forefront of my life, those people with a calling for singing who aren't answering the call, you know who you are. You know who you are because it keeps you up at night, and you do everything you can to rationalize it away. And your life changes when you step into it. Now, your call might not be to be having singing at the forefront, but your life also changes when you have a relationship with your voice. And if we had the tribe, if we had cities that had places where you wanted to gather, that you could get to, maybe we wouldn't have forgotten this. But right now, people have forgotten, and we have to remember.
It's deep.
It's really deep, and I'm really grateful that you're allowing me to go there
Yeah.
because I can't talk about hobbies because this is all consuming. It's all consuming. It is.
Hunter Chorley giving you some props right
Hey,
now.
Hunter. Thank you.
Can I
Yes,
put
now
the
you can
photo on screen?
Yes. Yeah.
You know the one I'm
yes.
talking about?
Yes.
Okay. Judah, do you have that photo? Okay, let's get that photo on screen. So you obviously know what it looks like.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to get out of the way.
Uh-oh.
She recently posted this on her Facebook. Talk to me about this photo. Dissect it for us. You don't have to. There's no rules here. There are no rules here.
Yeah.
Your trepidation is, what if this upsets somebody and I'm a business owner? That's what's going through your mind right now.
Well, there's a little gender flavor in there as well.
I thought that's why we should talk about
No,
it.
it is. It's true. It's
Don't
true.
you think?
It is.
Because that's what you're all about, isn't it?
What?
The sense of like what you are essentially doing at the Center for Vocal Study
Yeah.
is you are helping your students, regardless of age,
Yes.
background,
Yes.
find a better sense of self,
Yes.
find self-confidence,
Yes.
find self-awareness, find quality of life, find a better sense of who they are.
Yeah, I would say it's integrating all the aspects of who you are.
Right.
The voice is the portal to the divine. So I don't know how you can speak about singing without acknowledging spirit.
So go back to the photo and
So
give us
back
the
to the
photo.
photo.
Put the photo back on, J-Dubs.
Sorry. What do you want me to say about the photo?
Anything you want.
Well, I posted it because...
Why did you post it? Why did it mean something to you?
Right. People love to hate Nancy Pelosi, but man, she is strong and she is speaking up for what is good and right, and that is my opinion. We're at an unprecedented time in our nation. We have 6 women running for president, and so for the first time ever, we're not having to listen to things about people's haircuts or their outfits or whether they're a mother or whatever. It's like we get to actually listen a little bit more to what they have to say. And here's Nancy Pelosi, who has had a career in politics, who, I mean, just the picture itself speaks volumes. Standing up in her body.
Yeah.
Channeling
Strong.
something.
Right, empowered.
And look at how she's received. Some can't handle it.
You're talking about the men with their head down.
Men with their head down. Some cannot even look her in the face. Now, who knows why? I don't know. You have some who are looking on, looking sort of open. Then you have one that looks quite unruly. I think my comment on that, my post was, I think every woman who is led in a male-dominated environment understands
Identifies.
the source of this fire.
I love the post.
Thanks.
Seriously.
Thanks. I think fire can eat you alive if left untempered. And so what I would go back to segue this back to maybe a little bit about what we're doing at the Center for Vocal Study is we need more people rising up and claiming their gifts.
Yes, that's what I was hoping you were going to bring it back.
Yeah, your gifts, whether they are song or whether they are in any other field, but it does have relationship to, can I speak my desire into the world? Which, if you've lived a lifetime of denying yourself that which you know is coming through you, there can be some body breakdowns. It can show some signs of tension in places that need a little guidance through the body's instrument. It is real, beautiful, tender work. It requires courage to look within. No stone goes unturned. And people might hate what they hear. They might rip you down. And so more than, I'm less interested in likes on Facebook or viral YouTube things or really even selling things. I'm really, really interested in how can we serve you and create a space for you where all of you comes into the room. The part of you that you partitioned off when you were told you were a terrible singer. The part of you that is scared to change directions as a company leader. All of those things. So we really have taken on a little bit more of
How about the part of you that is hesitant to pursue an avenue that creates vulnerability? Because of this point of your life.
Yes.
You've essentially lived in a couple of roads where you are confident and in control and successful and able to do it without really working hard at it.
Yeah.
I wonder where that's coming from.
What, the desire or
No,
the curiosity
just
or what you do with it?
Straight up, I do 3 or 4 things well.
Yeah.
And I stay in that area. And I am hesitant to pursue
Beautiful.
areas where I am uncertain or lacking a little bit of confidence in myself or feeling vulnerable.
I really appreciate that you said that. Like,
It's true.
that is a demonstration of vulnerability.
It's true.
It's real, and you're not alone in it. It is, we have, I mean, all the Brene Brown fans out there know this well. We have this myth or this idea of leadership that you have to know things to be a leader. And the data actually shows us the opposite. The leaders who open and say, show vulnerability, not splattering, but show vulnerability, show heart, they are the people we are most inclined to listen to and to follow. They are the true leaders. If you saw the poem that I posted the other day, there's an event called Disrupt HR, and it's a little bit like TED, but 5-minute talks and geared towards HR professionals and talent officers. And Lily Garcia Watson, I met in the spring, and she with a team of people were organizing the Disrupt HR event.
This is the future of democracy depends on art.
So she said, I don't know who you are, but I'm here. She followed the feeling, right? She came in, I said, here's who I am, here's what I'm thinking about. Well, what I'm really thinking about a lot is that if we had more money in the national budget for the arts, we would have a very different society, and blah, blah, blah. And she goes, please write about that. And so I wrote a poem, and
You should do more of that.
Thanks.
Facebook Live.
I'm going to. Wednesday mornings at 9 or 10
Is
a.m.
that the Jessica influence? The encouragement?
Jessica's been awesome. Jessica Norby. Yeah, she's always encouraging. Sorry, that was like a brain shift there.
Where
Hold
I'm
on.
going with this
Wait,
is like...
can I finish my thought?
Yes.
Oh, now I've forgotten my thought.
You were talking about the poem.
I forgot why.
The future of democracy
I
depends on art.
I know. I don't know why I'm saying this. You're not alone. Sorry, just the channel's just got it's static. I need to change the channel, reset.
I think
I've forgotten what I was saying.
I think this is what I think. I think that, and I'm going to throw it back to you, and I want to throw it to your business because I want to spotlight your biz.
Thanks.
And you're doing a great job of it. The Center for Vocal Study.
Yes, we're providing personal retreats for people because what I'm seeing is the need is so vast. It is so vast.
And you were talking about how the country and democracy would be so different if there was more of a priority or importance, a better prioritization of the arts and music and theater, and how that would impact generations to come.
Yes, and I would take it a level further, which is what the arts and music are providing, theater, is we are remembering how to feel. And this is where this might sound dramatic, but I think about this a lot. Artificial intelligence is here, and it is the burden of the next generation.
That's very true. Well,
so in the hands of people who have tender hearts, it can be wonderful. It's already a part of our world. How? I'm thinking generations ahead.
Yeah.
In a world we can't even imagine yet.
Right.
How are they going to remember the difference between the robot and the human? It's going to come down to, can you feel that person's heart energy? Can you feel it? Here's again why I believe singers are uniquely equipped to lead in politics, in business, in local communities, in all levels. We feel. We handle dissonance. When somebody gets upset and there's feelings and sound, it's just different music. We can hold it. We can be with it. We can respond to it. We can move it. We can change it. Just the way my voice is changing speed and getting firmer and then getting softer. There's a movement of sound that we are masters of. And if we do not have the institutions, if the churches stop being singing congregations, and if our theaters are underfunded, if all of the arts institutions everywhere are looking around going, what are we going to do when our senior generation passes? How do we engage the new audience? I say, let's just stop trying to do it the same way. Disrupt. Like, don't play that game. Come in at a different angle. And that's what the Center for Vocal Studies is doing. We provide a really, really safe space for somebody wanting to deepen their connection with their voice, to come in and reconnect with the natural state of who they are. And from that deeper space, make an action plan that works for them. So it's a blend of voice technique, music teaching, and what you might call personal coaching, which I think of as the art of asking questions. What is your next doable step? I'm not talking about what is your perfect dream that is such a huge vision, you're so overwhelmed by it that you stop yourself before you even get started. What is your next doable step today, tomorrow, beyond that? So for some people, we craft programs that go through the year. A lot of it looks like a traditional voice lesson, but the intention behind it is maybe a deeper one. And I'm really, really pumped about serving heart-centered leaders, male, female, young, old. You know, our kids have so much to teach us. They have so much to teach us, and they know something isn't right. They know. And where do they go to have somebody reflect back to them? Oh, no, nothing's wrong with you. You're just perceiving on so many levels. You're perceiving on so many levels, and we got to keep that music coming out of you. You know, I'm a musical human. I have a bachelor's degree. That's it. And life experience. I've lived in other countries. I speak another language. I've started businesses. I've had some embarrassing starts, you know, where you go, oh, I'll try that webinar. And you think, oh, gosh, I'm so glad I tried that, so I never do that again. You know, I try things and I do things by showing up and doing them. And we need our young people to keep doing the things. We need our adults who are in positions of influence and power to be feeling more. You must be feeling more. You must open your heart more. The answers will come through you. And I think people stop themselves short because we have forgotten, to your question of what if you do three things well? We've forgotten that the music is always coming. The Mayans, when I lived in that Mayan village, they believed that the first song came from water.
Really?
Oh, so beautiful, right? As a classically trained singer, stepping into a world of improv, it was like, there's a wonderful song leader here, Lori Durr. She's doing a wonderful improv thing on Saturdays at the front porch. I think it's still going on. Madeline Holly Sales, these people who are holding these spaces for community song. We just need more of it. We need more of it. What the Center for Vocal Study can do right now is receive the person or the small team in a very safe, calm, offline type of way and go, who are you? How can we serve you? How can we usher your voice out? And for some people, that is literally voice exercises. For other people, it is community rhythm games. It takes on shapes customized to the person's need. It's a blend of maybe the coaching consulting world with the music world. But my sort of litmus test on it is, could we go into Congress and be taken seriously? Because we need it there. We need people who can sit around the table and listen to each other. Singers listen. Really, really good singers are exquisite listeners. I love opera singers because you are the Olympic athletes of singers. We need that intelligence in every piece of our society right now. And that is what we do.
That was perfect. I think that's a fabulous way to end. You know, what time do you think it is right now?
Did I go over?
No, just what time do you think?
I'm going to say 12:54.
1:39.
Oh, we start at 12:30.
You crushed it.
1:39. Is this it?
You went 70 minutes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, there's no rules here. We have no rules here. Literally no rules.
Thanks, Jerry.
We can do whatever we want. The center, do it one more time. Center for Vocal Study.
We are devoted exclusively to the art and craft of the human voice. We provide personal retreats for individuals and teams, and we are here to serve you in your voice and
Guess
your
who's
creation.
watching right now?
I don't know.
Laura Van Camp.
Laura. I hope it's okay that I spoke about your business.
She says, I love you, Heather.
I love you too, Piggy.
Literally just put that in the feed. You crushed it. You were great.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Thanks for the platform. I am
pleasure.
fired up about this because
I can
this is the time to be bold. This is not the time to be worried about whether your song is good enough or your album art is good enough or whether you make enough money. This is not that time. This is go share your gift. Go share your voice. Like you're needed out there, and the need is really, really vast, and that is where I would like to leave it.
You're good.
Thanks.
Seriously.
Thanks.
It's good. This is what we're going to do with the show, guys. We will archive the show in totality on ilovecville.com. We will take the audio from today's show and turn it into an iTunes podcast. For 30 days after this show, we will syndicate it across the I Love CVille network, 17 Facebook pages, 17 Twitter accounts, the third largest Instagram in the community, a daily e-newsletter that goes out to 108,000 inboxes, of course on ilovecville.com and on iTunes. We reach roughly 253,000 unique IP addresses each year through the I Love CVille network. I thank Heather Hightower for coming on the program, and we close with a message that we try to keep consistent every show. And that is asking everyone that's watching the program to please try to embody the golden rule. We do not make this about religion. Instead, we make this about treating your fellow man and your fellow woman as you would want to be treated yourself. It's the golden rule. Unfortunately, I think it's a concept that is lost on Charlottesville. It's a concept that's lost on Central Virginia, the Commonwealth, and the country. The golden rule. Enjoy your weekend, guys. Thank you for joining us on the I Love CVille Show. You were good. Did you have fun?
I'm sorry I went so long.
No. Please don't apologize. You have no rules.
It was
Literally.
great. It was great.
No rules. You were great.
Thanks.
Absolutely. Did you have fun?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for the space to.
Of course.
To go.
Seriously. And we should talk about, down the road, we can obviously